Now that you've written in your journal, let's take a moment to see how your reflections fit compared to a little exercise. Ask yourself, are you mentally ill if, after a car accident, you don't want to drive for a few days? Or is that an accepted, culturally normal response? What if you want to avoid the road where the accident occurred? What if you want to sell the car in which the accident occurred? What if you don't want to go in any vehicle for a few months? Probably many of you are starting at this point to think that reflects quite possibly a mental illness. What if I told you you never want to drive again? You might say that starts to fit our criteria of being dysfunctional or impairing you. But what if I told you that you had lost a child in the accident? Would that mitigate against your assessment that this was an acceptable or normal response versus one that reflected mental illness? Here's another one. Are you mentally ill if, after you leave for work, you wonder if you left the stove turned on? What if you go back in the house to check? What if you turn the car around to check? What if you circle the house and check all fire hazards twice before you leave? What if you check things 30 times in systematic order? And again, many of you may conclude that that person in the last category is clearly in the mental health realm. But what if that person had once lost their home to fire? We probably would be looking at that as a response we might consider to be somewhat normal, at least initially, and we would expect to see it fade. But you can see as we look at this, what are some of the difficulties a clinical professional might experience in being able to determine whether somebody's behavior is within the realm of an expected or culturally accepted response to trauma or stress. Now let's take a look at a different question. We spoke a little bit earlier about Axis 2, which is understanding the idea of developmental disability. So what is the difference between mental illness and disability, in your opinion? Using your journal again, answer and then discuss, if possible, with a partner these questions. And again, if you don't have a partner, review the answers that others have put online. What is a developmental disability from your perspective? Is it different than mental illness, and if so, how? And what terms have you heard to describe developmental disability? Is developmental disability an illness? What I'd like you to do is spend no more than 3 to 4 minutes doing the answers to these questions. So that gives you approximately 1 minute per question. I'm not looking for you to do research online. We're going to talk about the actual answers when we come back.